It's time now to catch up with Annie Young, who is the TU women's golf coach. And Annie, talking a little bit about this spring, obviously it was cut short. You played in only 3 of the 7 scheduled tournaments that you had on your schedule. What did you get accomplished, though, in the spring?
Well, it feels like so long ago, to be honest with you. But, we played really good in that last tournament before this whole thing stopped. Played really nice in Houston. Lorena won. And then the girls finished. We beat, I think, 2 top 25 teams and Houston on their home course. So played really good. They started to head in the right direction, and I know they're very disappointed we weren't continuing.
Were there any tournaments that you really felt good about in terms of the entire, even the fall schedule as well? Because sometimes you can finish third in a field of 6, and that's not as good a result as perhaps that last tournament you talked about, where you finished 7th in a really good field of 14. What were you most proud of?
Absolutely. So K-State, we played really well. We had a chance coming down the stretch to win the tournament. And then again, Houston, we played really well. We had a lot of tournaments where we played well for 2 rounds and just didn't get a third round, as you and I talked, I think, numerous occasions about. But like I said, they were really coming into their own. They were starting to believe in what they were doing. And so, like any athlete, they're disappointed that they didn't continue. But I know they're very excited to come back this next year.
And I know in a lot of the tournaments, you not all, but in many of the tournaments, majority of them, you had your best round in the 3rd round. Is that a good sign that your team is kind of learning how to adjust on the fly?
Yeah, I mean, every tournament, you feel like you want to get better every round as you see the golf course more and more. But I think it also speaks to, our stamina and our ability. We put a lot of time in the weight room. Coach Dietz does a good job with us, and people think golfers, that doesn't matter at all. But the recovery, especially after a 36-hole day, you've got to recover quick, and we tee off early. And so they did a good job of taking care of themselves and being ready for that.
One of your sophomores, Lorena Sang, was just outstanding for you. 6 top 10 finishes out of 10 matchups. What does she bring to the table for the program?
She's one that she could change this program. She sets a standard of, she works extremely hard, but she has a good attitude. She loves TU. She's just obviously she's a great golfer, but she's a great individual and teammate as well. And so, I think she's just going to continue to get better as we go along.
And she's a young lady that won a tournament. I mean, there's something to be said for somebody who becomes a medalist in any tournament, to be honest with you. It means that they have that desire down the backstretch to clinch, so to speak. So what did that say to you about her performances throughout the year, but certainly to win one?
Yeah, to win one is huge. She had a chance actually to win at Furman. She had the lead going into the final round, and both of that, Furman and then Houston, were really our toughest tournaments. And she did such a great job in those tournaments to play well, but stay under control. I know she let Furman kind of get away from her. But at Houston, she's playing against the top players in the nation and in the world. And so she shows that she can play with anybody.
And you're always looking for that 2, 3, 4, 5, you're always looking for support for somebody who's so good as Lorena. Taylor Dobson played pretty well for you, had 1 top 10 finish. Who are the other players that you're hoping to kind of bolster the ranks behind Lorena?
Yeah, Lorena played well, but Taylor stepped up when we needed her. She's just quiet and goes about her business. Haley Greb had some moments of good golf. Lily Thomas, she's really young, but she did a great job. And then, we kind of go how Sammy plays. So if Sammy plays well, we've got a great chance to play really good. She's got a lot of talent. And so, we're young. That's the great thing, is we got everybody coming back with that extra year. And then we're just looking forward to it. The Zoom calls have been really good, very positive. They've been reaching out to one another, and it's been great.
Yeah, and you mentioned Sammy Leo, of course, and a young lady who's also a sophomore, and you just touched upon that. You have a team that is so young, and everybody coming back. Got to bode well for the future. You got to feel really excited about what's coming up.
Yeah, it's looking good, and we're adding one addition, Tita. She's from Thailand, and then she goes to school in California. So if she can adjust okay to college golf, I think she's going to help us dramatically.
I've talked to so many coaches here in the spring, and all of them to a T said that they just thought their team was about ready to explode, or about ready to have some of their best performances, which is what all coaches are hoping for, obviously, that continued improvement. Did you have that sense as well, that the team was starting to gel?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in Houston, that we played great. We beat the number one team in the country a couple of rounds, so that was positive. Like we said, they were ready to go the next few rounds, next few tournaments, to be playing against we had some really good fields coming up, and so they were excited to play, and we felt like we were heading in the right direction.
And speaking of heading in the right direction, now you've been here for a little bit, for a while at the University of Tulsa, and obviously you got to feel pretty good about, in general, where the program is going.
Yeah, we're definitely heading, going the right way. As a coach, you want it to change overnight, but the reality is, it takes a few pieces to get it going and change a culture. And so I'm very proud of what we're doing, but you could talk to our players as well. We're not satisfied whatsoever. We've got to continue to get better and make progress so that we can get competitive nationally and have our name up there where it was at one time.
Coach, you mentioned this earlier, touched upon, the Zoom calls and that sort of thing. In this age of Zoom now, how are the girls adjusting? I would suspect that the kids probably adjust better than the coach, huh?
Yeah, very much so. The recruiting, I'm itching to get out and watch some golf. My dad runs junior golf here in Utah, and so I know tournaments are going on, but we can't go watch. And so it's been an adjustment for me. The girls are loving it. They're saying they're playing more golf than they've ever played. We're in a sport where the courses have been open for the most part. And so, I think they're adjusting well. They did a remarkable job in their schoolwork. And I think they're excited that portion's over with and they can just, have a little downtime and focus on their games.
Yeah, Coach, you just mentioned, of course, golf is one of those sports where there is already some social distancing going on. So there'll be some adaptations, I'm sure. But at this point, it's great to see the girls getting out.
Yeah. And they, like I said, they said they've been playing more than they ever have. And, I'm a little jealous. I haven't been out quite as much as I would like to, but it's good for them. I think they're going to be really excited to come back.
Annie, thank you for taking the time, and can't wait to see you back on campus. I know everybody wants to get back and get going, and can't wait to see you back home.
You as well. Take care.